Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Tracy Quaydu, and just so you know a little bit about me and who I am, I was born and raised in Ghana, West Africa, and grew up in a family of philosophers, teachers, and musicians. I immigrated to Canada in 1985 and later to the US, where I obtained my DDS degree at the University of Washington in Seattle, and which is where I currently reside as well. I'm married with two incredible adult children. And over the course of 30 plus years, I have realized my raison d'etre, which is creating beautiful smiles and also inspiring and empowering patients and clients to step into their greatness and to live happy, authentic, and impactful lives. I am an author, speaker, presenter, trainer, and coach. But when I'm not creating beautiful smiles, you'll find me coaching women to rediscover their authentic selves, manage stressors in their lives, and live happier lives with impact and distinction. I'm the founder and creator of the Smile Mastery Coaching Program and also the Smile Code podcast, which was just recently launched. And I'm the CEO of Smile Matters Inc. and Smile Matters Dental Center in downtown Seattle, Washington. So, enough about me. Let's dive into the reason you're here today. And so, welcome to the webinar Chairside and Beyond, Navigating Stress and Finding Balance in a Demanding Profession. Now, whether it's a medical emergency at the office, staffing shortages, scheduling or financial pressures, personal problems spilling into our professional lives, or physical exhaustion, stress is a real threat to our physical and emotional well-being as dental professionals and is something we need to address in a holistic way if we are to lead balanced, purposeful, and fulfilling lives. Now, before we get started, I'd like to just get everyone sort of into the present moment. So we're going to do a brief centering exercise. So find a quiet and comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. Sit upright in a chair with your feet flat on the ground and your hands resting comfortably on your lap. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling gently through your mouth. As you continue to breathe deeply, bring your awareness to the sensations in your body. Notice any areas of tension or discomfort and consciously release that tension with each exhale. Now imagine roots extending from the soles of your feet deep into the earth below you. Visualize these roots anchoring you firmly to the ground, providing stability and support. With each breath, imagine drawing up nourishing energy from the earth through these roots, filling your body with a sense of strength and calmness. Allow yourself to stay in this grounded state for as long as you need, continuing to breathe deeply and feeling the connection between your body and the earth. When you feel ready, gently open your eyes and return to the present moment, carrying this sense of centeredness with you as you go about your day. So our objectives today are in three segments. Firstly, we're going to talk about stress, what it is, the different types of stress, the physiologic response to stress, and its impact on dental professionals. Secondly, we'll look at ways in which you can navigate stress and mitigate the adverse stress response. And then lastly, we'll look at ways to find balance in our professional and personal lives. Now, stress is the body's natural response to any demand or challenge, whether real or perceived. It occurs when individuals perceive a discrepancy between the demands placed on them and their ability to cope with those demands. It is a natural and adapted reaction designed to mobilize the body and mind to deal with threats. When faced with stressors, the body's fight or flight response is activated, which triggers a cascade of physiological changes, including the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. In the context of the dental professional, stress can arise from various sources, including patient care, workload pressures, and the emotional toll of dental practice. Understanding stress, its triggers, and responses is crucial for developing effective strategies to manage and mitigate its impact on overall well being. This prepares you to respond to the perceived threat, whether it's a physical danger, a challenging situation, or even a perceived or imagined threat. So let's start off by talking about the different types of stress. Um, the first one we're going to talk about is eustress, which is really good stress. It arises in motivating and inspiring situations. And then we have eustress, which is neither good nor bad. And usually, for purposes of this webinar, when we say stress, we are referring to distress or bad stress. And stress can manifest in various forms. Acute stress, which is short term in nature and in response to an immediate threat or challenge, which is pretty much a normal and often necessary part of life. And then we have chronic stress, which is the persistent long-term stress that can result from ongoing challenges such as work-related pressures, relationship issues, or financial difficulties. And this is the category most dental professionals find themselves in. And then we have episodic acute, which is often experienced by individuals and also many dentists who frequently find themselves in demanding situations and lastly, we have traumatic stress that results from traumatic events like accidents, natural disasters, or violence. So this stress curve shows the effects of chronic stressors over time. And as you can see, stress can wreak havoc long term for dentists and can result in burnout, depression, disease, and eventual death if steps are not taken to interrupt the stress pattern and mitigate its effects. Stress can significantly impact human performance both positively and negatively. And in this graph here, you can see the initial part of the curve where the stress or eustress, if you want to call it that, is providing motivation, um, clarity and focus, and increased alertness and productivity. And it gets the top of the bell curve where things are at the highest level. You're producing and being the most productive. Your performance is at the most optimum level. And that's because, the amount of stress and the amount of productivity are in balance with each other. Now, if something isn't done to keep it at this level, and if the stress continues to increase, then you get overwhelmed, you start to freak out, and eventually crash and burn. And so the idea with stress mitigation and stress management is to keep it at to keep performance at an optimum level. And you can do that by just implementing some of the things that we're going to be talking about later on in the webinar. The stress response is a complex response involving many of the body's systems, and it involves the activation of the sympathetic nervous system and the release of stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. And this is released in response to a perceived threat or stressor. The physiological cascade leads to increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, enhanced respiratory rate, and other changes, and it prepares the body for a fight or flight response. Stress in dentistry is mostly chronic stress interlaced with episodic acute stress and can be likened to holding this glass of water. The strain and tension in your arm is small at first, but over time it grinds you down and can wear you down day after day, year after year. The worst aspect of it is you get used to it. You forget it's there. You ignore it because it is old, it's familiar, and sometimes almost comfortable. But it can wreak havoc through long term attrition and can slowly but surely destroy your body, your mind, and your life if it's not mitigated with focused intent. And like this glass of water, you want to learn to just set it down, recharge yourself, revitalize yourself, take a rest. And you can always pick it up again. You can always pick up the things that create the stressors in your life. You can pick them up after you've taken a break and you've had a chance to recharge yourself. Stressors abound in dentistry. You know it, including but not limited to patient anxiety and management, the pressure of working with precision and detail in small and confined spaces, scheduling and time pressures, staff leadership challenges and team dynamics, physical ergonomic demands, professional expectations and clinical decision making, emergency situations, and financial and business management. But this is not an exhaustive list by any means. I'd like to share an emergency type situation that happened to me many years ago when I was an associate dentist in Renton, Washington. One of my husband's co-workers, who I'll call Dexter, had a toothache and was referred to me. And Dexter was rather good looking, tall, dark, handsome, macho looking and all. And I remember when he arrived at the office, the receptionist and the assistants were all rather excited to be in his presence. And it was interesting at the time to notice the rapid change in the atmosphere in the office, dramatic changes in voice pitch, choice of words, gait, frequency of giggles, and the personalities of the girls in the office. I remember rolling my eyes and thinking, how unprofessional. Anyway, this was at the time when sexual harassment was becoming a buzzword in the workplace. So anyway, after I examined and diagnosed Dexter, I proceeded to give him a shot in his mouth. You know, I had done an interview with him, and he hadn't indicated any type of fear or phobia. He just was a normal, good-looking patient. What I did not realize was that Dexter was very phobic about being at the dentist, but all the flurry and attention he had received when he came in had made it almost impossible for him to voice his anxiety and reveal that he was really scared. So anyway, Dexter was dark skinned, and so I did not realize right away that the blood was draining from his face, and actually did not know that anything was wrong till he said to me very rather sheepishly that he didn't feel good and he wanted to go to the bathroom. So I quickly raised the chair up, sensing right away that something was wrong. I took one step from the chair and I was reaching forward to get the doctor's stool out of Dexter's way when he came crashing down on top of me. Luckily, the chair broke my fall and I would have hit my head pretty badly otherwise. It happened so quickly. I was stunned. I was frightened, out of my wits. Was he all right? What was happening? And I remember at that very moment, Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye starts to play on the loudspeaker, on the speaker radio in the office. And just at that moment, the assistant who had stepped out of the room for a minute to get something came humming around the corner, still on a high from an earlier conversation with Dexter. And she stopped short in disbelief at the spectacle before her eyes. Here I lay, feet astride, with Dexter squarely on top of me, with his head buried somewhat comfortably in my cleavage, with a rather shaken and winded look on my face. Dexter at that very moment starts to come around and is kind of making some soft sounds, and she exclaims, "Dr. Quadu," in just profound amazement. "What are you doing?" And it would have been funny if it wasn't so serious. I sternly ordered her to call 911. Well, first help get him off of me and to call 911. And the medics came rather quickly, and he was transported to the local emergency room. And they later called to confirm that he had had a vagal reaction, which was triggered by high levels of anxiety. Good news is he came through fine, and I also recovered from a pretty bad fall, but not without it having quite an impact on me, and how I could have missed his the signs that he must have given me, even though he didn't come out verbally to say he was anxious and nervous. I surely should have picked up on some signs that he was not at his best, and I didn't. And I remember beating myself up about it. But that just goes to show that sometimes, depending on the situation, you cannot read all the signs or the signals, and things can go bad. And luckily, this didn't. But it goes to show you the types of stressors that can happen, sometimes very quickly, in a dental office. And so we have to be mindful of making sure we're staying really alert and focused, so that we can take the best care of our patients and ourselves too. Now, let's take a moment to think about all the stressors, all the many stressors that you face on a chronic or episodic basis in your office or practice, professionally and personally. Now, what would you say is your greatest stressor right now? Take a moment and jot it down. Share it in the chat if you care to share, and we will come back to it in just a little bit. Change is the very essence of life. Change brings about tension, which creates stress and invariably transformation in our environment. Not only the environment, our bodies and our lives too. Can we control life and its myriad of changes? Can we control the bunnies and chickens in the spring, or the beautiful butterflies in the summer, or the 4 seasons, or the flowering plants all around us? Of course not. There are over 8 billion people on the planet, over 1 million dentists globally, and a little over 200,000 dentists in the United States. And each one of us possesses unique traits, personalities, mindsets, belief systems, attitudes, and experiences which shape the world we live in. Each of us have an effect on the world and change the world in some way just by our very nature and our ability to choose and exercise free will. So in answer to the question, can you manage your stress response? The answer is a resounding yes. Stress lands differently for different people. People react differently to it. And a surefire way to understand how we respond or react to stress in the world is by knowing ourselves, becoming more self-aware, and learning as much about ourselves and how we process information, how we process stimuli, and how we behave physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now, how do our brains process information? Well, our brains take in and process information, and in turn, this drives our behavior. So, information comes into our system via our 5 senses: what we see, what we hear, what we feel or touch, what we taste, and what we smell. There are other senses too, some intuitive senses that we won't get into here. But our minds, no matter how amazing, have some safety features, some of which are filtering information. You see, our minds are bombarded with about 2 million bits of information per second. That's an enormous amount of information. And it's generally accepted that the mind can only handle about 7 bits of information, plus or minus 2. So it has to figure out ways to chunk this down. And it does this in a number of different ways. It distorts some of the information, it generalizes some of the information, it deletes some of the information in the process of filtering things down and getting it to a manageable size. Now, the NLP communication model seen here is useful in identifying triggers and shows how our mind processes the information that comes into our system. As we said, it deletes, it distorts, it generalizes the information to make sense of it, to get it down to a manageable size. And secondly, it shows us how our emotional state and physiology are intrinsically linked via our internal representations. It is these things combined that drive our behavior. A number of years ago, when I was practicing in Bellevue, Washington, I had a 16-year-old high-functioning autistic patient who I will call Derek. Derek had so many dental problems. He was a foster kid and had been bounced around the foster care system and hadn't had much supervision with his oral health, and consequently his mouth was in pretty bad shape. And he had just a lot of trauma and fears around his teeth and his mouth, and about the dentists that he hated coming in. And he was always late, always hard to get into the chair, hard to get him to open his mouth. So anyway, on this particular day, Derek came in. They were late again. His foster dad brought him in. They were late again because Derek had gone into hiding. And Dad had to go find him and coax him to get into the car. So anyway, they came late, and after much coaxing, we were able to get Derek into the chair. And then he wouldn't open his mouth. And I realized that Derek had dry, chapped lips. The skin on his lips was peeling. And so I asked the assistant to get me some Vaseline on a Q-tip so I could moisturize his lips. And as I was moisturizing Derek's lips, a thought came into my mind, and I said to him, just very instinctively, I said, Derek, you're not going to believe this, but today is your lucky day. Today we're applying bright red lipstick on your lips because we need to keep things colorful, and we also need to get your lips moisturized. Now, what I didn't realize was that Derek was a very imaginative person, very visual in his thinking, and the thought of a 16-year-old frightened boy in a dental chair in bright red lipstick was just too compelling for him, and he burst out laughing so hard and so contagiously that he got me, the assistant, and eventually everyone in the office laughing out of control. And this went on for a good 5 minutes or so until Derek settled down and we all settled down. And what happened after that, I could not have predicted, because for some magical reason, Derek just decided that this was really fun, and he opened his mouth. We were able to get his work done with no problems at all. And at later visits to the office, he was very accommodating and very willing, and we managed to get all of his dental work completed with no problem at all. Now, what happened with Derek and the story about the lipstick? What happened to Derek was that his pattern of processing information in his brain was interrupted. And it was interrupted in a pretty much permanent way, because it's almost like putting a scratch on a record. You try to play that record, it will never play the same again because of that scratch. So that red lipstick and his visual of it put a scratch in his brain, the record in his brain, and he was never able to behave the same way again. So knowing this about how our brains work can help us when we're facing or encountering challenging or stressful situations, we can put a little scratch in the record, a little something that interrupts the pattern so that we don't behave the usual way, which is usually detrimental for us and undesirable. So it's a very classic way to manage stress and to mitigate the effects of stress. There are many ways to interrupt the stress response pattern, and visual imagery is just one of them. So we will look at some other ways as well during this webinar. Knowing why we do what we do, identifying our true values, personality, and traits is fundamental in designing our stress responses professionally and personally. Self-awareness lays the foundation for effective stress management by providing insights into our triggers, our coping mechanisms, our communication styles, and overall well-being. It empowers us to make intentional choices that align with our values and contribute to a healthier, more balanced life. There are many sites online where you can get a values assessment, but here are three of them. Before taking any assessment, it's important to approach it with an open mind and consider the results as a starting point for self-reflection. Additionally, keep in mind that these assessments may have different approaches and interpretations of values. You may also consider taking a reputable personality assessment. There are many of those online as well. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, and the Big Five personality traits, the OCEAN, or other validated assessments can provide insights into aspects of your personality. One of my favorites is the 16 personalities test at 16personalities.com, and it provides, so long as you answer the questions honestly and correctly, it's pretty spot on in identifying your triggers and your behavior patterns and how you process and manage stress, and can provide some really helpful and valuable insights into your personality and how you behave under certain circumstances. So be sure to go online if you haven't already to take an assessment, and be very honest. There's no right or wrong answer really, and you just answer as honestly as you can, and you essentially get what you put in. If you put in accurate, honest answers, you'll get a very accurate assessment of your personality. You have to remember that personality is multifaceted, and traits can vary based on situations and contexts. And in addition, you have to remember that self-reflection and feedback from those who know you well can also contribute to a better understanding of your personality. How do you generally cope with stressors? Do you simply avoid it or walk away? Is it even something that can be avoided? Or do you reframe it somehow in your mind, alter it in some way? There are many stressors that we cannot control. Do we deny its existence? Fighting its existence can be stressful. Do you accept life's uncontrollables and try to adapt, or do you fight it to the death? Take a look at that stressor that you jotted down earlier. How are you coping with that? There are many ways to cope or manage our stress response. Besides simply walking away from it, which isn't always an option, that is avoiding it or altering it in some way, accepting it or adapting to it, or even using visual imagery. We can mitigate and manage it through a number of other strategies as well. Many of these strategies can be used in combination with each other for a more effective stress response. One classic stress response management technique or strategy is deep diaphragmatic breathing. And there's so many different breathing techniques that can be employed for stress reduction and relaxation. And here are several types. I'm going to talk about several types that we can, techniques that we can try. The first is diaphragmatic breathing, which is also called abdominal or belly breathing. You inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand, and exhale slowly through your mouth, allowing your abdomen to contract. And what you want to do is focus on the rise and fall of your abdomen rather than shallow chest breathing. The second is the 4-7-8 breathing, which is called the relaxing breath. So what you do here is you inhale quietly through your nose to a mental count of 4. You hold your breath for a count of 7, and you exhale completely through your mouth to a count of 8. And this pattern is repeated for several cycles. Then we have box breathing, also known as square breathing. Here you inhale slowly to a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, and exhale slowly to a count of 4. You pause and hold your breath for another count of 4, and then you repeat. So that's box breathing. The next one is alternate nostril breathing, which in Indian terms is known as Nadi Sodhana. You close off one nostril with your thumb and inhale through the other nostril. And then you close the other nostril with your ring finger and release the thumb and exhale through the first nostril. You then inhale through the same nostril, switch fingers, and then exhale through the other nostril. And you continue this alternating pattern of breathing. That is known as alternate nostril breathing. Now the next one is pursed lip breathing. Here you inhale slowly through your nose, exhale through pursed lips as if blowing out a candle to a slow count. And this technique helps improve lung function and promotes relaxation. So that's pursed lip breathing. The next one is equal breathing, also known as samavriti. Here you inhale and exhale for an equal count. For example, inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4. And here you maintain a steady and equal rhythm throughout the practice. Next is the cleansing breath. Here you sit comfortably with a straight spine, inhale deeply through your nose, and exhale forcefully through your nose while pulling your navel in. You focus on the forceful exhalations and allow the inhalations to happen naturally. So what you want to do is experiment with these different techniques of breathing to find which ones work the best for you. Incorporating deep breathing into your routine can be a valuable tool for stress management and overall well-being. Deep breathing, coupled with progressive relaxation, can help reset and relax you when cortisol and adrenaline levels rise in your body. What deep breathing and progressive relaxation do is trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts the effects of the sympathetic nervous system or the onset of stress. Progressive relaxation, as you may know, is a relaxation technique that involves systematically tensing and releasing different muscle groups to promote physical and mental relaxation. And here's how you can practice this technique. So what you do is you find a comfortable position. You sit or lie down in a comfortable, quiet space, and you start with breathing. Take a few deep breaths to help calm your mind and body. And then you begin by focusing on your feet, curling your toes tightly for a few seconds, then releasing the tension and letting your muscles relax. What you want to do is pay attention to the sensations of tension and relaxation. Then you move on to the next muscle group, for example, your calves. You tense the muscles in your calves for a few seconds, then release and let them relax. You continue progressing through the different muscle groups, working your way up your body, including your thighs, your buttocks, your abdomen, your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your neck, and your face. And then what you want to do is you want to hold and release as you tense each muscle group for a few seconds, around 5 seconds or so. You tense and then you completely release it and focusing on the contrast between tension and relaxation. What you want to do is pay attention to the sensations of warmth and relaxation as you release the tension in each muscle group. This is a form of meditation, by the way. You want to be mindful of the present moment and the sensations in your body. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back and focus back on the muscle group that you're working on. And you can repeat this process for a second round if you find it beneficial. Progressive muscle relaxation is effective in reducing muscle tension, promoting relaxation, and relieving stress. Regular practice can enhance your awareness of tension in your body and improve your ability to relax voluntarily. It's a valuable technique for both physical and mental well-being. Emotional freedom technique, or EFT, is another strategy for mitigating the stress response. It's also commonly known as tapping. It is a therapeutic approach that combines elements of traditional Chinese medicine, psychotherapy, and acupressure. EFT involves tapping with your fingertips on specific acupressure points on the body while focusing on a particular issue, emotion, or problem. The goal is to address emotional distress and promote a sense of emotional and physical well-being. And here's a basic guide to EFT tapping. First, you identify the issue. So take the stressor that you jotted down earlier on in this webinar, and let's work with that. Identify a specific issue, emotion, or problem that you want to address. It could be stress, anxiety, or a past trauma, or any emotional difficulty that you're having. The first thing you want to do is to create a setup statement that acknowledges the issue while affirming self-acceptance. For example, even though I feel anxious about X, I deeply and completely accept myself. And so after setting up this statement, you go through the tapping sequence and you use your fingertips to tap on specific acupressure points while repeating the key phrases. And the common tapping points include the side of the hands, the top of the head, the eyebrows, the side of the eye, under the eye, under the nose, under the chin, the collarbone, and under the arm. And some of the tapping phrases, as you tap each point, express your thoughts, your feelings, or affirmations relating to the issue at hand. For example, this anxiety about X, I acknowledge my feelings, and or I choose to release this tension. And after going through the tapping motions through all those specific acupressure points, you do a reassessment. Notice any shifts in your feelings or perceptions, and you can repeat as needed. So you repeat the tapping sequence, adjusting your phrases based on changes in your emotions or your thoughts. And you're in charge, so you can change the phrases or the statements to suit whatever you're feeling and you're wanting to address. Now, EFT is believed to work by addressing disruptions in the body's energy systems, as suggested by traditional Chinese medicine. While research on EFT is ongoing, some studies suggest that it may be effective in reducing symptoms associated with anxiety, stress, and trauma. It's important to note that EFT tapping can be a self help tool, but for more complex or persistent emotional issues, you may consider consulting with a mental health professional for guidance. Desk yoga is another great strategy for interrupting the stress response and also for moving the energy around your body during challenging times. Um, you have to remember to breathe deeply and mindfully during each exercise. There are many desk yoga poses. These include the seated forward bend, the chair cat cow stretch, the chair pigeon pose, the neck and shoulder stretch, and the desk yoga twist. These exercises and stretches can help release tension, improve circulation, and promote relaxation, making them ideal for reducing stress during a busy workday. The NLP swish technique is a visualization technique that is also a very good tool for mitigating the stress response. It is a cognitive behavioral method used to help change unwanted habits, behaviors, or thought patterns. It is designed to replace a negative response or behavior with a more positive and desired result. Um, so, we're going to go through the step by step strategy of using this technique, the step by step guide to using the swish technique. First, you want to identify the undesired behavior or thought. So you clearly define the specific behavior or thought pattern you want to change, and this could be a habit, a reaction, or a belief that you find unhelpful. Next, you're going to create a desired outcome. So you clearly envision the outcome you desire. Imagine a positive behavior, response, or thought that you'd like to replace with the undesired one. Next, you're going to visualize the undesired image. So you close your eyes and vividly imagine the undesired behavior or thought in your mind. You see the image associated with the negative pattern. Next, you're going to create a small, dim, positive image. And what you do is you create a small, dim, and black and white mental image of the desired outcome. You place the small positive image in the corner of your mental screen. And as you mentally observe the undesired image, quickly and abruptly swish it away. Simultaneously make the small positive image expand rapidly and become bright, colorful, and vivid. And the undesired image, which was originally bright, will become small, diminished, black and white, and inconspicuous. And imagine stepping into the new positive image and experiencing the desired behavior or thought. See and feel yourself successfully engaging in the positive response. And you can repeat this process several times, reinforcing the swish and positive visualization. Each time, make the positive image more compelling and the undesired image less vivid. Consider anchoring the positive outcome by associating a physical gesture or word with a positive feeling. This can serve as a trigger for the desired response in real life situations. So the swish technique leverages the power of mental imagery and association to create a shift in automatic responses. It's essential to practice the technique consistently for it to be effective. And if you find challenges in using this technique, you can seek guidance from an NLP practitioner or a mental health professional. They can help you with it. Negative self-talk is a common thing that many of us do when we are stressed. And there are some techniques to interrupt that pattern, which is a stress response. Like Lisa Hayes says in her quote, we have to be very careful how we are talking to ourselves because We are listening. Our body is listening. Our cells are listening in on it. So, disrupting negative self talk is a crucial step towards cultivating a more positive and constructive mindset. And there are several strategies that can help us interrupt and change negative self talk. The first one is awareness. To pay more attention to our thoughts, notice when negative self talk arises and identify the specific thoughts or beliefs contributing to it. Another strategy is to challenge these thoughts, these negative thoughts, when they come up. You want to actively challenge negative thoughts by asking yourself questions like, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? What evidence do I have for and against this thought? Would I say this to a friend in a similar situation? Next, consider reframing negative statements. So you want to transform negative statements into more balanced and realistic ones. For instance, replace I can't do this with this is challenging, but I can take one step at a time and get it done. Consider also using positive affirmations. Counteract negative thoughts with positive affirmations. These statements that you repeat to yourself to reinforce your strengths, your capabilities, and positive qualities. Yet another strategy to mitigate negative self-talk is practicing self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend. Acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes and faces challenges. You can also create a mantra, a positive mantra or phrase that you can repeat to yourself when negative self-talk comes up. This can serve as a quick reminder to shift your perspective. You can also engage in mindfulness practices or meditation to increase awareness of your thoughts without judgment. This can create distance from negative self-talk. Next thing that you can do is visualize success. Imagine successful outcomes and visualize yourself overcoming them. This positive mental imagery can counteract negative thoughts and self-talk. And limit negative inputs. So be mindful of the information and influences you expose yourself to. Limit exposure to negative content that may contribute to pessimistic thinking. And seek support. Talk to friends, family, or a mental health professional about your negative thoughts. Sharing your concerns can promote a different perspective and emotional support. Changing ingrained thought patterns takes time and consistent effort. Doesn't happen overnight. So experiment with these strategies to find what works best for you, and remember that fostering a positive mindset is an ongoing process. Now, many of the techniques we've discussed actually create mindfulness and relaxation. But I want to just add on that, in the dental office and other healthcare environments, we can practice taking short breaks between appointments to practice focused breathing, deep breathing like we discussed earlier. This helps to bring attention to the present moment, as you know. And in the dental office, we're always washing our hands, mindful hand washing. This is a routine task we do all the time in the office, and this can be a time to practice mindfulness. Feel the water on your hands, notice the sensation of soap, and focus on the present experience to bring a sense of calm. You can also practice doing body scans before and after work. Focus your attention on different parts of your body, releasing tension and promoting a sense of relaxation. We talked about progressive relaxation. You can practice that after you do your body scan to see where you're holding tension in your body. Another thing you can do is to practice mindful patient interactions. During the times that you're interacting with patients, be fully present and attentive. Listen actively, observing without judgment, and respond with intention. Mindful communication enhances the quality of patient care, as you may know. We already touched on desk yoga and stretching. Those are all practices that we can use to to enhance mindfulness and um, bring about relaxation. During lunchtime, practice taking some mindfulness breaks. Dedicate a few minutes during lunch to eat mindfully. Focus on the flavors, the textures, and smells of your food, allowing yourself to fully savor the experience. These mindfulness techniques can be seamlessly integrated into the daily routine of dental professionals, promoting a sense of calm and enhancing overall well being in a demanding work environment. Time pressures are a big deal when it comes to the stress response. And linking time management with your values and life goals provides a holistic approach to prioritizing tasks and achieving a sense of fulfillment. Dental professionals can align management with their values and life goals by clarifying their values, setting aligned goals, prioritizing accordingly, evaluating time investments, balancing personal and professional life, incorporating self care, avoiding overcommitment, and celebrating achievements. When it comes to clarifying your values, you want to identify your core values, and hopefully, you've done the assessments that we talked about earlier, and you want to be able to identify your professional and personal core values. Make sure you identify both of those and consider what matters most to you in your dental practice and in your overall life, and create your personal mission or vision statement. This will help be a guiding force in all your actions and all your goals. Define specific goals and team that align with your values and vision, whether it's providing excellent patient care, maintaining a healthy work life balance, advancing your professional skills. Your goals should always reflect what is most meaningful to you. And when it comes to prioritizing accordingly, remember the 80-20 rule applies here as in everywhere. Use your values and goals as a guide for prioritizing tasks. Focus on activities that contribute directly to your overarching objectives, both in your dental practice and your personal life. And be sure to regularly assess how you spend your time. Ensure that your daily activities align with your values and contribute to your long-term goals. Block scheduling. Train, cross-train. Have the whole team do the personality and values assessments and ensure they have the right role for maximum productivity, and delegate where appropriate. Balance personal and professional lives by allocating time not only for work-related activities, but also for your personal well-being and relationships. Strike a balance so that your time management aligns with broader life goals. This is critical because it's not all work. I mean, you're a human being and you have needs outside of your professional um, commitments, and so you have to make sure you make time for all of your goals, your life goals. And make sure you recognize the importance of self-care in achieving long-term success, and allocate enough time for activities that rejuvenate you and contribute to your well-being, and which also align with your values. Be mindful of your capacity and avoid overcommitment. I am very guilty of that. You have to align your commitments with your values to prevent burnout and maintain a sustainable pace. And remember to celebrate your achievements. Acknowledge and celebrate milestones that align with your values and life goals. This positive reinforcement can motivate continued alignment between your time management and aspirations. By consciously integrating time management with your values and life goals, dental professionals can create a more purpose-driven and fulfilling approach to their work and personal lives. Taking care of myself doesn't mean me first. It means me too. And self-care is such an important piece of the stress response mitigation puzzle. because without it, we're unable to stay focused and alert, and that affects not only our health and our mindsets and well-being, but it also affects patient care. And it's so crucial for dental professionals, really all professionals, to maintain well-being and to manage stress. And one of the things that we have to consider when we talk about self-care is sleep. And I'm guilty of this. I definitely don't get enough sleep. I'm always overcommitting and doing more than I should, and I'm working on that, obviously. So when it comes to sleep, it's important to establish a consistent sleep schedule. Aim for a regular sleep-wake cycle. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day helps regulate your body's internal clock. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. Develop a calming routine before bedtime. This may include activities such as reading, gentle stretching, or practicing relaxation techniques to signal to your body that it's time to wind down. You want to optimize your sleep environment. Ensure your sleep environment is conducive to rest. Keep the room dark, quiet, and cool. Invest in a comfortable mattress and pillows to enhance the quality of your sleep. And limit screen time. Reduce your exposure to screens, including phones, tablets, and computers, at least an hour before bedtime. The blue light emitted can interfere with the production of the sleep hormone melatonin. Watch your caffeine intake. Be mindful of caffeine consumption, especially in the afternoon and evening. Caffeine can disrupt sleep, so consider limiting it in the hours immediately preceding your bedtime. Avoid heavy meals late at night. Consuming large and heavy meals interrupts your ability to sleep well. Manage stress before bed. Practice stress reducing techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or gentle yoga. This can help calm your mind and promote relaxation. Try to stay active during the day. Engaging in regular physical activity during the day will then allow you to avoid vigorous exercises close to bedtime. Regular exercise can contribute to better sleep quality. Limit naps during the day. Keep it short, 20 to 30 minutes, and avoid napping too close to bedtime, as it may interfere with nighttime sleep. And address any sleep disorders that you might be experiencing. Insomnia, sleep apnea, and the like need to be addressed by a professional. Seek some professional help if you're having any of those. Addressing it is crucial to your overall well-being. Prioritizing adequate and quality sleep is a fundamental aspect of self-care for dental professionals, as it directly influences physical and mental health, cognitive function, and overall job performance. The other thing to discuss when we're talking about self-care is regular breaks. Take short breaks between patient appointments to stretch, to breathe, and to reset. Use this time for a quick walk or a moment of relaxation. Practice mindful moments, like we discussed earlier. Nutrition is key. Prioritize a balanced and nutritious diet, because fueling your body properly contributes to sustained energy levels and overall well-being. And make sure you're hydrating. Stay well hydrated throughout the day. Dehydration can contribute to fatigue and affect cognitive function. You also want to pay attention to ergonomics to prevent physical strain. Ensure that you practice proper posture and consider ergonomic equipment to reduce the risk of musculoskeletal issues. Try to incorporate regular physical activity into your schedule. Whether it's a workout, yoga, or a walk, exercise can boost your mood and reduce stress. Explore mind-body techniques such as meditation or deep breathing exercises, and we already talked about those, as these practices help to manage stress and promote relaxation. Set boundaries. Set clear boundaries between work and personal life, and avoid taking work related calls or emails during off hours to protect your downtime. And invest in professional development and continuous learning. Keep your skills updated. Well, keeping your skills updated can enhance confidence and job satisfaction. And make sure to make time to connect with colleagues for support and camaraderie. Sharing experiences and challenges with others in the field can be therapeutic. Make time for your hobbies and interests. Nurturing personal hobbies and interests outside of work can provide a valuable outlet for relaxation and joy. And prioritize your dental your health in general by getting regular checkups. Reinforce the importance of self-care and make it an ongoing practice. And tailoring these strategies to your individual needs can contribute to a healthier and more sustainable career in dentistry. And now, saving the best for last, we're going to talk about the smile. You know, as dentists, we create healthy, beautiful smiles, and we have to commit to practicing the very thing we give to our patients every day. Smiling can have profound and positive effects on stress management, and its impact extends beyond just a facial expression. It can contribute to stress relief. Smiling triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals. Endorphins promote an overall sense of well-being and act as natural stress relievers. Smiling has been associated with a decrease in cortisol, the stress hormone. Lower cortisol levels contribute to a more relaxed state and help mitigate the physiological effects of stress. Smiling can create a positive feedback loop. The act of smiling, even if initially forced, can signal to the brain that something positive is happening, leading to an improved mood. Smiling is a universal sign of friendliness and approachability, and engaging in positive social interactions through smiling can foster a sense of connection and support, which is beneficial for stress management. The simple act of smiling can lift your mood and contribute to a more positive outlook. This positive mindset can help you approach challenges with resilience. Relaxation of facial muscles is something that happens when you're smiling, because smiling involves facial muscles, and this physical relaxation can extend to the rest of your body, promoting a sense of calmness. And smiling enhances communication with others. In the dental profession, a warm and friendly demeanor can positively impact patient interactions and create a more supportive and comfortable work environment. And adopting a smiling attitude, even in challenging situations, can act as a stress buffer. It signals a proactive and optimistic approach to problem solving. Now, while smiling alone may not eliminate all sources of stress, incorporating genuine smiles into daily interactions can be a simple yet effective tool in promoting a positive mindset and contributing to overall stress management. So there are three big takeaways from this presentation on stress management and finding balance. The first is know thyself. I cannot emphasize this enough. So who are you? What do you stand for? What means the most to you, and what are your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your triggers, your coping mechanisms, your goals? You've learned enough here to help you identify and manage the signs and triggers that create stress in your life. Remember, you are an authentic and unique human being like no other being on the planet. You are not in competition with anyone or anything. You are here to express your awesome, unique qualities on the planet and leave your unique branding on it to make it better than ever before. Deviation from your authenticity and purpose is ultimately what leads to stress and its debilitating consequences. So, knowing thyself is key. Managing your time is also crucial. Make time for the things, people, and goals you've identified that mean the most to you and will move you confidently in the direction of your dreams. Life is short, my friends. Make the most of it. It's so easy to get caught up with what the next person is doing or not doing. And I really believe shiny object syndrome is the real pandemic of our day. Stay true to who you are authentically. This will mitigate tension and stress. And finally, take care of yourself, your body, and your mind. Adopt a healthy lifestyle, eat well, hydrate, take restful breaks, sleep, pamper yourself, celebrate your wins, learn from your mistakes, surround yourself with positive people and things, manage your stress response to the myriad of stressors that bombard us professionally and personally. Guard your thoughts, guard your mind. Maintain a positive outlook on life always. There is always a silver lining if you look hard enough. Smile every day, my friends. It is easy, it costs nothing, it's instant, and can wipe away your stress physically, mentally, and emotionally. In her book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, Dr. Clarissa Estes states, "Ours is not to mend the world all at once. Ours is to reach out and mend that part of the world that is within our reach." Mending the world starts with us, knowing ourselves, embracing life and its myriad of changes and stressors, accepting what we cannot change, but adapting and transforming what we can with our own unique brand of magic, positively, confidently, authentically, and with distinction. Remember that in the midst of life's storms, a river cuts through rocks, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Embrace stress as the sculptor of your strength and flow forward with unwavering resilience. Know thyself. Spend time doing the things that move the needle and that are aligned with your professional and personal goals. And absolutely take utmost care of yourself. I'd like to extend an invitation for you to follow me on my new podcast. It's called The Smile Code, and you can find it on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and Spotify. This podcast touches on the principles and blueprint that help to align our authentic selves with the outward expression of our brilliance. And I'd also like to invite you to consider joining my Facebook group. It's Smile Mastery Inner Circle. And it was created about a year ago, and it was created to inspire and empower amazing and strong women as they step into their greatness with authentic confidence, impact, and distinction. I'd like to indulge you, if I may, with a short meditation utilizing some of the strategies discussed throughout this presentation. This meditation combines deep breathing, progressive relaxation, the calming imagery of water, the warmth of the sun, and the positive impact of smiling to create a relaxing and stress-relieving experience. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed and sit or lie down comfortably. Begin with a few deep breaths. Inhale slowly through your nose, allowing your lungs to fill with air, and exhale gently through your mouth. Picture a tranquil body of water, whether it's a calm lake, a gentle river, or the soothing ocean. Visualize the water's surface and imagine the rhythmic flow creating a sense of peace. Envision a warm and gentle sun shining above the water. Picture its rays extending towards you, and as you feel the warmth, allow a genuine smile to form on your face. As you continue to smile, bring attention to different parts of your body, starting from your head, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your torso, your waist, your hips, your legs, and gradually move down to your toes, releasing any tension and inviting relaxation with each breath. Imagine your thoughts as gentle ripples on the water's surface. Allow them to come and go, observing them without attachment. Smile at the flow of thoughts, acknowledging them with kindness. Reframe that stressor that has been plaguing you. Visualize the positive outcome you'd like to see in its place, and surrender to its peaceful and effortless transformation. With each inhale, visualize positive energy entering your body like a refreshing breeze from the water. Visualize it as it cleanses you, bringing more clarity, focus, peace, and calm. As you exhale, imagine releasing any stress or tension, letting it flow away with the water. And do this a few times. Take a moment to reflect on aspects of your life that bring gratitude. Picture these positive elements as reflections in the water, creating a sense of appreciation, love, and peace. Gradually bring your awareness back to the present. Before opening your eyes, take a deep breath and allow a genuine smile to linger on your face. Know that you are enough. You are capable, and you are awesome. You can now open your eyes. Thank you for watching and listening. If you have any comments and would like to contact me, feel free to reach me at drq@smilemattersinc.com.